Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. Earlier this week, we spent a good amount of time talking about the quarterback position in the film breakdown for Dillon Gabriel. Today, what I want to do is look at the other things around Dillon Gabriel. Specifically, we're going to give a deep focus to the offensive line when DeJuan Jones was out there. We're also going to look at a little bit of Isaiah McGuire, which I thought was pretty promising. But the long story short, the TLDR, is that the Browns' offensive line looks pretty good right now. I don't know what the starting unit's going to look like, but given everything you heard at practice, seems like they're going to look pretty good when you get the chance to see them. It seems like they've been looking good throughout camp. And today, we're focusing on four guys who are definitely going to make the roster. One of them who's going to start. There's some encouraging stuff, some very encouraging stuff. There's some stuff that's not so encouraging. We're going to kind of get through it. Now, if we want to talk about what was not the most encouraging from this game, from a offensive line standpoint, it was the first couple of drives from one DeJuan Jones, right? I think that's the one thing we can all point to, we all know, was not the most encouraging. Now, I'm going to break down why I thought it wasn't the most encouraging couple of drives. I thought he played much better by the time he got off the field. But yeah, this was not the greatest start in the world for DeJuan Jones. The other offensive linemen we're going to be watching here that I think are important for the Browns' future, you got Tevin Jenkins, backup guard. You got the center, Luke Whippler. And then you got Zach Zinter, your third-round draft pick from last year, also at guard. This is a tackle. He might make the roster. He might not. It's not really that big of a deal. But I think here's where you're going to really be paying attention to in this game and really want to break down. So let's kind of jump into it. All right. So first play here, we're just going to kind of roll through and look at each guy on each play. So first, DeJuan here, nothing really that interesting to look at, just a little down block here. So the idea is that DeJuan kind of just shades down, right? So nothing too complicated. Gets on the move. Now, this isn't like the best executed down block because he loses a lot of ground here. Doesn't really get his guy turned out. Ends up not really being that much of a factor in the play. So you would like that to be a little bit stronger execution for DeJuan. And run blocking is been a struggle for DeJuan. I think his best thing for him is pass blocking. His run blocking has been a bit of a struggle. Even at a lighter weight, it seems like he's having a bit of a hard time out there. All right, let's move down the line here, see what else is going on. Let's look at Tevin Jenkins. Now we're looking at 74 on your screen. Big 7'4". Gets out in space, hits a linebacker. You want to see him hit with more power than that. Especially Tevin, who's like known for being very physical, right? You want to see him drive the guy out there, but he's not going up against cones. So the linebacker has a say in it too. Linebacker just kind of did a good job on that rep. Good job getting in space and then hitting the target. You just got to want him to clean it. And then Zinter here pulls out number 70. And then we'll talk about the center next. So Zinter, the other guard, let's look at him. Pulls out, helps 68, gets to the second level, misses his punch. So, one thing good, second thing not that great. Again, the linebacker has a say in this, right? I don't want to just act like it's only the offensive lineman that can make it happen or not make it happen, right? So good help here, right? Clears him out the way, gives Barton the angle to drive him out the way. Good job. Gets to Jahad Campbell, and Jahad just kind of he hit him with some quickness. That's why Jahad was a first round pick, right? Hits him with some quickness. Zach's got to be ready for that, right? Zach's got to lock him up a little bit better than that. Whippler here, again, just simple acts from him, right? Just hold his ground. He does a good job, and he even starts driving the nose there. So great job by Whippler. I think he's a player. I think Whippler's going to be a player for this team. Look at this. And then he starts driving out. That's pretty good. All right, so that's that play. Let's move to the next one. you know, we're going to want to really pay attention to what this team does in run block situations, because it's going to be really incredibly important for what this team wants to do as far as their offensive strategy. All right, so this is a look here. They're in 5-0, right? Tight ends off the line of scrimmage. So this is probably not going to be helping here because there's nobody for him to chip. So 5-0 protection more than likely. You got DeWand here. Jamari Thrash is probably motioning out wide, so this is empty. They slide over the edge to the tight end, so they slide to the strong side on the defensive side. No chip, 5-0. All right, so right here, they're in empty 5-0, right? So 5-0 is just 5 offensive linemen. And if you can see how the protection slides out, it looks like they are in 300 jet. So 300 jet, I believe, is 3 to the left. 2 jet is 3 to the right. So, 3 jet to the left, 2 jet to the left is kind of what you're telling, right? 3 jet, 2 jet, 300 jet, 200 jet, whatever you want to call it, But that's what's going on here. This looks like 3. Yeah, this looks like 3 jet. Ooh, sorry. I just jumped all the way back to here. So this looks like 3 jet. And I guess the call, there was some miscommunication here in the call. Because you can see here, DeWand slides out. Jenkins helps with the nose. And then Zenter immediately, look where Zenter goes, right? Zenter immediately has his eyes on the outside, right? So something tells me there was some miscommunication in the slide, and maybe the call didn't get to Zenter, or Zenter didn't register the call properly. Just from looking at body language, and again, I'm just guessing here, it feels like Zenter was in the wrong here because everybody else looks pretty confident they're in the right call except for Zenter, right? Like there's not, if this were a larger miscommunication, I would expect 68 to look a lot more confused with what's going on right there. But he seems to understand, what his responsibility is. Maybe Zenter just didn't think that Campbell was going to shoot this gap, and he just kind of automatically went to 96 to help. So maybe he was just overeager to help. So either miscommunication or just bad technique here. All right, but like his eyes are immediately there, like he's thinking he has to slide over. So I think he just fucked up. All right. Sorry about that. All right, we're at the next play now. And we'll slide down the line here. We'll start with DeWand Jones. Big number 79. You can't miss him. I think he does a good job on this rep. Right? Aziz Ojulari was giving him hell all day. And apparently at practice, he was giving him hell a lot too. Aziz can fight with his hands really well. That's why he was a first-round draft pick. That's what he did really well when he was at Georgia. And there are a couple times where he does get DeWand here. This time, DeWand gets the better of him using his length. He set out wide, 13 sets out wide on 79 to try to get around him. It's a good idea. DeWand's not the most mobile tackle, right? So set super wide. I mean, he's at the 9, right? Again, you remember our defensive tech positions, right? Outside of the tight end is the 9. So he's at the 9 here, rushing at DeWand with no help. This is a pretty tough rush, right? And a tough rep for DeWand, right? He's at the 9. DeWand's here. No help here from Whiteheart. So just kind of a lot of space here for DeWand to have to cover. Now, the good thing for DeWand is that Aziz is a bit one-dimensional. Aziz is always going to try to hook this around. He's not somebody who's much of a threat to beat you inside, which gives DeWand a little bit of help here because he can just haul ass, right? Not worry about his balance to get out there and then use his length. And this is a good job of using your length, right? He tries to punch into DeWand. Like he tries to long arm him. DeWand does a good job of avoiding that, right? DeWand does a good job of avoiding that. And then once he gets a hand on him, he just uses that length to run him around. Good rep, Dewan. That's a good rep. That's a good rep. Put him on the ground, away from your quarterback. There's a clear escape lane if he needs to run. That's a good job by your left tackle for that rep, in my opinion. All right, then you got 74. Good pass off there. Really not much for him to do. 56. Gets the pass off. Does a good job anchoring. Gets pushed back a little bit. Maybe you want to see a little bit better of an anchor, but still, I think it's good, right? Sits on it, gives ground slowly. That's all you ask of your offensive lineman, give ground slowly. So I think decent rep from him. 70. Dealing with this 3-tech here. He tries to swim him. Good job recovering, right? So the 3-tech tries to swim him, right? Gives him all this shoulder shit. Oh, yeah, he's just doing all that. And he kind of I don't know. Yeah, he gets the outside of him, he swims him, and then great job. Look, great job here, right? Swims him, he swipes his hands off of him. He's in a vulnerable position, but he does not panic. He stays low, and he puts his ass to the ground, and then boom, he stands him up. He stands him up, and that's the space that gives Dylan Gabriel just this little tiny window to get this ball off and get a first down. It's a great rep by 70, in my opinion. Again, eats the swim, and then boom. Stand him up right there. Stand him up. That's great. That's good. That's good stuff. All right, let's continue. This is fun. I don't know if you guys don't think it's fun, but I think offensive line stuff is fun. Offensive line, defensive line, it's shit's fun to me. All right, so run play. Again, not asking much from Dewan here. Just kind of take care of your man. He does a fine job there. Really the guy to watch here, 186. I don't know if he's going to make the team because this has been bad preseason for him too. So 56 gets out there, double team. He tries to climb to the second level. 3-tech does a good job maintaining him. 86. Okay. I mean, again, look, the linebacker has something to say about it, but again, you want to add more resistance than this. Just a little bit more resistance. I don't think you should win every rep, but you shouldn't get bench pressed here by 56. He just bench pressed him. Look at this shit. Easy. That's too easy. That's too easy, especially for a guy who's on the team specifically because he can block. You got to be better than this, man. And this is what I mean, the domino effect of the run game, right? I always talk about this because people blame the run game not working on like very simple things, but oftentimes there are these little dominoes that could drop in the run game or in the screen that you're not really going to see if you watch it on broadcast. But when you watch the tape, you're like, oh, that's why the play failed. And this is another example of it, right? This play, almost everybody involved in it did their job except for 86, and that killed the play. One domino fell on this run play, and it killed it dead. That's why running the ball is not necessarily the go-to that people want it to be, right? Because people understand the idea of these dominoes falling in place when it comes to the pass game, right? You understand that a wide receiver has to catch the ball, run a good route, or the quarterback has to throw an accurate pass, the offensive line has to block. There are a lot of variables that go in place to have a successful pass play. And we understand that, and we calculate that in what we want to do in short yardage or, sensitive situations. But the run game has those same variables, right? Because if one guy does not do his assignment on a run play, it can ruin the whole thing. So there's always going to be that variable no matter what you do when there are 11 guys on the field. This is an example of it, right? You look at 56, he seals up well. I mean, he doesn't get to the second level, but there was really no reason for him to get there because Jenkins is able to get a hand on him. It's fine, right? It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. 70, good job. Turns his man out. creates the hole, did what he's supposed to. 86, I mean, this is his man, right? Get there. It is just do something. 86 does nothing. Well, now the gap's not open. The dominoes, man. You got to knock down every domino in the run game. And that's why, like, great run games are probably not the most consistent things year to year. Because, like, look at all the shit you're asking to go right on every run play. And to do that consistently, it's crazy. And this is why good running backs are very important, because a running back that can make something happen when those dominoes fall, incredibly valuable. Again, I think the most undervalued position in all of sports. Not a good rep from DeJuan Jones. I'll just tell you that right off the bat. So, yeah, well, that might be face mask. Is that? It feels like it could have been a face mask. Nah, it's outside shoulder. It's not face mask. That's outside shoulder. His glove's just white. That's why it looks like a face mask. All right, so outside shoulder, he long arms him, drags him down. DeJuan dips with him, and then he's never able to make him extend that angle. So now he's able to bend this right at Dillon Gabriel, forcing him out the pocket. Tevin does a good job cleaning this mistake up for DeJuan, though, right? But this is a bad rep. Yeah, DeJuan didn't get out in time. He didn't punch at the right time. He didn't time up the punch. All kind of stuff went wrong for DeJuan here. He gets turned around. Never a good rep for your offensive lineman, of your offensive tackle, in my opinion. When your offensive tackle is looking straight at your quarterback, it's probably not a good thing. But Tevin does a good job here, right? Cleans that up, gives Dillon some time. So good on Tevin. Center really just did his job here, right? Snap the ball, give ground slowly. That's good. That's good stuff there. I think Zinter's doing a good job handling his 3-tech fine, right? Little hands there, anchoring, not really giving up any space here. So good job there. Yeah, DeJuan gives up the pressure here. Got to get a better rep from him here. Azeez gave him too much trouble for somebody who's not really like that, right? All right, the next one, let's look at it. Another one where they have these guys out wide, right? The wide 9. You hear the Browns talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time. This is the 9 or edge rusher, right? Outside the shoulder of where a tight end would be. This gives you a lot of space to work with. Put your tackle out on an island if it's a one-on-one, and helps you avoid a chip, because all of a sudden now, if he wants, let's say his route is an over and he wants to do a little chip on the over, you can't really run that chip and then release late. It's got to be part of the play. So it's much more difficult, and it forces more one-on-ones. So that's kind of the philosophy here. The downside to this is, look at all this space you're creating on the run game. So, if you're wondering why teams opt not to do it, right? So wide. So, I mean, like, this guy is at like a 3T. He's almost at a 4I here. You could argue he is, right? But at a 9 and a 9. So there's a lot of space in these gaps, right? So I'm going to put G for gap here. So there's a lot of space in these gaps. So you're putting a lot of responsibility on your linebackers here, right? Like, a lot of responsibility to stop the run here on the linebackers or on this safety coming down to fill this gap, because you got a linebacker out in coverage. So it's a little risky for run defense. You're really relying on your personnel, but it does put your pass rushers in a position to go attack. So you see the safety come down. And then what does the safety do? He looks over that gap first, then he goes to his coverage responsibility. So this is another rep for DeJuan here where he might have got away with something here, right? Nah, hand on the chest. I would like to see a cleaner rep from DeJuan, because the only thing that makes this not a pressure is the fact that Dillon got rid of the ball on time. So Dillon gets rid of that. So that's not a pressure. But if Dillon held that for like a couple half a seconds longer, it probably turns into a pressure. So I don't think that's a good rep from Dewan. Again, he's a giant man. You're not expecting him to be able to haul out there and have the cleanest kick slide of all time. And I think his feet aren't that terrible here. It's just look how badly his top half goes, right? Like he just kind of gets into a really bad position here. Like for a guy as big as he is, he gets spun around and he's out there twirling a lot. You know, if he wants to be finesse, he has to be just cleaner than this with the feet. Cause that's the one thing I've just noticed with Dewan. It just seems like he is spinning around a lot. You look at everybody else here, Tevin Jenkins, good job getting rid of me. That's a hell of a rep by Tevin. It's a good rep right here, right? 3-tech coming across his face. Looks like a little twist. He just, get your ass on the ground, man. Get out of my face. Picks up the other guy. Yeah, he ain't doing nothing either. Great rep by Tev. That's a helmet sticker right there, right? I would say it's a helmet sticker, in my opinion. So great rep. Just get out the way, pick them up, clean them up. You feel really good about backup guard with Tevin out there. Whippler, yeah. I mean, his job wasn't hard, right? Just catch the guy that's fallen to the ground already. Put his ass in the ground. Still a pancake. I think Dylan Whippler, I mean, not Dylan. I think Luke Whippler gets the pancake block for this. Incredibly enough. I think he gets the pancake block. All right. And then Zinter, and not his cleanest rep. Not his cleanest rep, right? Kind of misses his punch. Hey, I got to give credit to his 54 for Philadelphia. Let me look him up real quick because he might be good. Who's 54 for Philly, and will he be on the waiver wire? Because this guy's good. Yeah, Jeremiah Trotter. Definitely not on the waiver wire. Definitely not on the waiver wire. What, 5th round pick 2024? Yeah. Yeah, that guy's good. This Trotter guy, he's pretty solid. He's been a pain in this offensive line's ass all day. All day. Look at that. Good move. Right? Gets long here. That's good. It's good stuff. It's because the only thing you would want from him here is just like get his hands up a little bit. Get that other hand up. Well, he's trying to get long here. So I don't even want that actually. Yeah. So he's trying to get long here to get under and get a pressure. Yeah, 54 is good. All right, let's move on to the next. Yeah, Dylan absolutely saves Dewan from giving up a sack here. That's why you get rid of the ball on time. That's why you get rid of the ball on time, quarterbacks. He holds on to that for like a fraction of a second longer. He just gets drilled in the back. All right, next one. This is a run play. Amani Marshall. So they're pulling Zinter into this gap. This is a gap scheme play, right? When you hear me say gap scheme, zone scheme, this is like gap, right? The reason you could tell it's gap is you could tell there's everything is just attacking this gap right here, right? They're attacking this gap. They're trying to do everything to open up this gap, right? Zinter's lead blocking here. Dewan's supposed to have a hand on 54, but when we established Jeremiah Trotter's good, and 2, Dewan not really good in space. So a double bad situation there. But this is a gap scheme play, right? When you're talking about the run game, how the philosophy differs. Marshall, who I think has been really good in zone, this is opportunity for him to get a gap play. Gap play is real simple, right? Just be patient, let those blocks open up that gap, and then shoot it, right? Kind of like a linebacker, right? You're letting the play develop a little bit, and then when you get the opportunity, you got to shoot the gap. And Marshall, let's see how Marshall does with this. Yeah, he doesn't shoot this one clean, right? Angle, you probably want him to be a couple steps over by the time he makes his cut. Instead of having to cut there, you just want him to shoot it, right? This is what Kareem Hunt was really good with. Just shooting this gap, popping through it, right? Getting to play here. This is what you hope Quinshon Judkins does really well. So running back wise, he kind of plays it like it's a zone play. He don't need to do that, right? Just get on the outside hip of 70. That's what you probably want him to do. It's probably what he's coached to do. Get on 70's ass or get on his hip. Right now he's on the opposite hip. You want him on the outside hip here from what the play looks like. Get on that hip, follow that hip, and once you see 70 crash into somebody, all right, hit the jets. Instead, he has to cut around 70 and then slide into that gap. So not the cleanest run by Marshall. Let's look at Dewan. That's just bad, Dewan. That's just a bad rep. Again, this first part of this tape is not going to be favorable for Dewan. I think he gets better later on. He's just so clumsy in space sometimes. It's like I think he tries to help Tevin, and then just You got to do one or the other. You know what I mean? You got to do one or the other. That's the thing with this rep, and that's the thing with Dewan. I don't think Dewan is bad in space as a pass blocker or as a run blocker simply because he's clumsy. I think he's bad in space because he's indecisive. And this is a good example of it, right? When is he making this decision? What is he choosing to do? Honest to God, if you want to help Tevin Jenkins here, help Tevin Jenkins. That's better than what you did on this play, in my opinion. If you want to go straight at Jeremiah Trotter, go straight at Jeremiah Trotter. Now, honest to God, you're not good in space, right? If we know DeJuan Jones is not good in space, I just prefer him to just help out Tevin and let the guard who is good in space handle that. Let Wyatt Teller handle Jeremiah Trotter, right? We got guys who can hit in space. Joe Batonio, Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin. We don't need DeJuan to be great in space. So if you're not great in space, but you feel like you can help, clear out with the guard, whatever. But do something. Commit to something here. The problem with this rep is that he's stuck in both places. He starts out, his base wants to help Tevin Jenkins. His hands want to stop Jeremiah Trotter, and he ends up doing nothing. He ends up doing not a goddamn thing here, right? So what did you end up doing? You didn't help Tevin win his play. Tevin won that all on his own, probably in spite of you. You didn't help Jerry. You didn't do anything to slow down Jeremiah Trotter. I'm pretty sure Zach Zinter felt every bit of this because he had to crash right into him. So what did you do? It would have been nice if DeJuan could have climbed to that second level and did something about the linebacker, but you don't really expect that out of him. You get a good block from your tight end on Jahad Campbell. And again, dominoes, right? This could have been a much bigger play if Marshall takes the outside hip of Zinter, right, instead of cutting towards the inside. And if DeJuan gets that second level, you got a free runner. It's the dominoes. It's the dominoes. It's the dominoes. Zinter does a good job here, though, man, because we've established Jeremiah Trotter's a strong motherfucker. Good God. Oh, my God, Jeremiah Trotter. Hey, man, that guy's good. Mark my words. 54 for the Eagles is a player. Wow. Oh, wow. Because, look, man, Zinter could have got a little bit lower, but Zinter pulls here, full speed. He just eats it, gets underneath him, makes the tackle. That's a player right there. I don't know if any Eagle fans are watching this video, but if you know an Eagle fan, ask them how they feel about Jeremiah Trotter because, dog, he looked amazing in this game so far. And 54 is all over the place here. I'm noticing him more than I'm noticing Jahad. It's unfair the Eagles get all this talent, man. There's all this talent. Hey, here comes Jeremiah Trotter almost fucking up that play too. I mean, he finally missed the tackle, so that's that. Geez, Dwan. Again, you got to do something. You want he doesn't look as powerful as you want a man that big to look. Okay, so yeah, again, we're gonna look at Dwan, and look, this first half of this breakdown is gonna be really, really tough on Dwan. It just is what it is, and this is just bad, right? Again, look at the feet. Feet all left. I mean, it's the Patrick Ewing meme. One-legged, off balance. You got your ass pointed one way, your hands pointed the other. You put your body going completely in the opposite direction of where you're trying to punch right now. Have you ever made that shot? Yeah, this is just bad. Bad tracking by Dwan. I'm not an offensive line expert. I'm not Joe Thomas. If Joe Thomas contradicts me on this, then believe Joe Thomas. You know what I mean? I'm just the guy who watches a lot of football, who listens to a lot of people who watch a lot of football, who has listened to people who have played a lot of football, and has tried my best to learn the game of football as best as possible by respecting the folks who have played it. I've never heard an offensive lineman who has had a long career in the NFL tell me that this is a good position for a tackle to be in. If you can find that tape, I'll shut up. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if you've played offensive line, you tell me, is this right here a powerful position? Is your offensive line coach going to be thrilled with that kind of positioning right there? And I would guess probably not. You know what I mean? I would guess probably not. Jeremiah tried to miss his tackle, and thank God, but he was a menace, dude. 50. Look at this dip move too, by the way. I mean, like, look again. The guy's good, but Dwan should really be able to do something about this. Look at his dip move by 54. Whoo, this brother good. Dwan, you should still be able to do something about this stuff. Like, this dude out here looking like Fred Warner on you, dog. It's not good. Ooh. Oh, I know he's mad. That would have been a sick highlight. That would have been sick. That would have went triple platinum in the fucking linebacker room right there. That would have been cold. Look at that. Just like, oof, just sweeps under him. Oh, I know he's sick. I know he's sick, man. I know he's sick. He didn't get that tackle. Did Pierre Strong got 7 on that? Yeah. All right, let's see if anybody else did their job. Looks like Tevin did. Devin did his job. 70 did his job. 82. 82. Another good block by him. He might make the team. Yeah. Yeah, he might make the team. He might take 86's spot. Depends on how they feel about him. Hey, good job. Who's that? Is that Gage Larverton with the down block with the block here on the safety too? Yeah, I mean, get him the fuck out the way. It's serviceable. I mean, it just shows you how important your auxiliary blocking is sometimes too. The line didn't do the job here. Dwan lets his man through, but you get enough from your tight end and your wide receiver, break off a good play because the guy missed the tackle. Hey, the dominoes cannot fall for the defense too. All right. Let's watch this play. Much better by Dwan here. Much better by Dwan here. Again, left on the island. This is a tough position for Dwan to be in. Left on the island against a wide front. You got to be real athletic here. He's not the most athletic tackle in the world. He's really big. So you worry about him in this situation, especially with the team that loves to run athletic edges out there like the Eagles. Does a good job surviving that hand fighting. It does a good job surviving the hand fighting up there. early in this rep. Much better. Much better. And really what Jenkins wins his rep, Whippler wins his rep. Nothing really crazy there. Again, this quick game. So just real easy job here. Real nice little quick block here by DeJuan using his length. Nothing crazy here by the offensive line. And who is that blocking on the other side? It's Barton. I think 82 might make, if 82 can catch, he might make the team. Because 86 has not been good. But I don't know what they've been seeing in practice. Might be a different story in practice. This is an end around. This is going to be fun to look at. Because this was a successful end around. Get in space. All right. I want to see Whippler finish in space a little better than this. Also, you want Gage to read his blocks a little better than this. What the fuck made you think you should cut in? Like, I guess he thought it was like college. Like, I'm just outrun everybody. Nah, dog. You had it. Yeah, so Gage probably should have scored a touchdown here because he had the alley. I mean, Whip's set up to handle this. You got the alley, dude. Just take it. You got the alley here. This here. You shoot this and you just take the angle away from that safety. You might be able to score here as long as you cut it fine enough that you don't get into his space here. But even Deontay's doing a decent enough job holding him. So, yeah, you should have just shot the alley, man. I don't know why he just cuts this up right into 5 Eagles jerseys. Details. What the fuck was this? What was this cut? What justified this cut? That's crazy. That is a crazy cut. That is a crazy. Just scrape. Honestly, just sit on Whippler's hip and ride it to the end zone. You're good. Like, I don't mind if you want to do like a little step. If you want to step with your outside foot and then cut it back up north. But why in the world did you not continue to go north here? Yeah, you get exactly what you want here. I was going to be upset at Whippler for not getting that block downfield, but like, what was Gage doing? Yeah, DeJuan does a good job here. Zenter good. Tevin does a good sell here, right? With Pierre strong, holds the strong side of the field on the defensive end. Good job there. Good sell by Pierre Strong. Great execution. Everybody but 84 execute this play right. I mean, it's not terrible execution, but it's still like, hey, man, what was this cut? What was this cut, man? Like, I don't know. And again, look, I've never, ever been in this opportunity in an NFL game. So maybe I'm wrong here. If an NFL player contradicts me on this, take their word for it. I'm wrong. But feels like this is not where you want to be with the football, where you have maybe one guy who's anticipating you definitely take this side of the field versus 5 Eagles. Or, you could take the 2 brown jerseys, the 1 white jersey. Feels like better odds to me. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. All right, we're at the end zone play here. Let's see what the offensive line does and gives us right now. Man, 82. I was talking just so that, you know what? That's a tough assignment. You got him down blocking on somebody at like the end. That's a tough assignment, man. I'm not going to blame him for getting blown up there. It's a bad assignment. He gets blown up and pretty much blows up the play. That should have scored. I don't know. It's not going to score, actually. A safety's in the way. Does Tillman get to him? No, Tillman doesn't. Yeah, I mean, maybe you want him to cut behind the tight end. I don't know what the demands were on this play from the coaches, but just going to go and say I don't like the call. All right. Let's see here. Is this the touchdown? Great cut. This is a zone play, right? So you heard me break down kind of what a gap scheme play looks like, what they're going to be doing with gap scheme. This is a zone play, right? The back cut's there. You're reading the linebackers. You feel the linebackers move all the way to the other hash. You put your foot in the ground and you cut across the grain. You score a touchdown. So great run by Amani Marshall. It's good cut, good read, right? Eyes up. You're going to notice the running back's eyes are up at the second level. He's reading the linebacker, probably looking for Jeremiah Trotter's annoying ass. And then he puts that foot in the ground. You see two asses pointed at each other in zone blocking. That's where you want to be at. Sees two booties pointed against each other, and goes straight up. And let's look at the blocking assignments, see who did a good job, who didn't. Dewan did fine, right? It's basic. Let's get your hands on a guy and keep him still. This is like a low bull that Tevin Jenkins like eats up here. Does a good job anchoring against it. Setting, slow, set. Whippler getting to that second level, dealing with the boogeyman, number 54, and not getting his ass beat. Almost didn't get his ass. Well, no. Just enough. Jeremiah Trotter did get off that block, but yeah, you scored anyway, so you win. Yeah, probably not the. No, that's a good rep by Zinter. Get him, move him. He's out to play. Yeah, good stuff all around. Run play worked. Good eyes, good blocking, good stuff. Love to see it. Awesome, amazing. Everybody gets a helmet sticker. All right, let's look at this. Play action. Dewan's out here on an island. Good block. Let me make sure it's not a hold. He's right in front of the ref, no flag, so I guess it's not a hold. Jenkins does a fine job. A little tandem here, 56 and 70. It's fine. Yeah, it's a good rep. Yeah, I think Dylan just got to throw this out of bounds instead of keeping the ball alive. Okay, let's continue. Out wide. Whoa. What is... This is an interesting alignment. What is on here just to mess with Cincy? Interesting alignment here. Interesting protection. Dewan. Good job, Dewan. Yeah, made him run around. That's a win. Tevin Jenkins. Let's look at Tev. 3-tech. Good anchor. Oh, great anchor. It didn't look like the body positioning was great, but just look at the result here. You can't argue with the result. He's driving him. And then Zinter, he does get beat here with a little swim. He gets to the outside shoulder, pushes him out the way. Good job there. Oh, it's a screenplay. That's why he's so wide. All right. Good job there from them. All right, let's look at the line again. Again, we're dealing with that wide 9. Good job by Whiteheart for once here, right? That's solid enough. Here. Dewan could do a better job here. You would like to see him do a better job going up against the Eagles' third team. Again, the big thing with Dewan is like, man, Use your body to be more powerful instead of your arms. He is very arm heavy. He does not use his body to get powerful. And somebody's gonna make you pay for that, right? He's got to connect these things. And maybe this is taking a while because he's transitioning to left tackle. But he should be more powerful than this right here. He should be way more powerful than this. And again, a lot of spinning for Dewan. It's a fine rep. You kept him away from the quarterback, I guess. It's just I want to see you enforce your will on somebody like this, man. Like, you're way bigger than him. Good throw by Dylan. Dang. All right, so good job by Dewan. Again, a consistent note for Dewan. Please look more powerful. Please be more powerful. Whippler, I think he gives ground a little bit too fast here. Right, want to see him anchor a little bit better than that. Zinter, that's fine. That's fine. So run play. Play action. Oh, they love to do this. They do this with Joe Batonio all the time where they pull him, make him the right tackle, essentially. Good job by Tevin. Good rep there. Good rep there by Tevin, getting out in space, making contact, and anchoring. Much better anchor this week than last week. Good rep by Dewan. And fine tandem work by 70 and 68. Good throw by Dylan. All right, let's look at what this play is. Little run play. You could tell by just how everything coalesces to one gap. This is a gap scheme play. So Pierre does a better job, than Amani here running this, executing this. Unfortunately, Whiteheart doesn't execute here, which this is a tough job for Whiteheart, right? But that's why he's out there. He's the third tight end. Again, gap scheme, you could just tell Zinter didn't do a good job either. So here. But you see how, remember I was complaining about Imani Marshall being on the wrong hip here? Well, you can see it right here. Strong is supposed to be right there. And you see how he cuts this? So he's either on the tailbone or the hip, the left hip of Zinter. So he doesn't have to cut to get to where Zinter is. That's how that play is supposed to be ran. Amani ran it wrong. Now, 86 gets blown up here. That puts him right into play. Also, I would argue Zinter got beat by the boogeyman. Goddamn Jeremiah Trotter. The goddamn boogeyman. He got beat by the boogeyman. Look at the boogeyman. Just scaring the shit out of our offensive line this week. Yeah, the boogeyman did a good. He just missed him. He didn't even want to think about the boogeyman. All right, so boogeyman gets him. So I would say 86 bad and Zinter bad on this play, right? Just kind of gets lost there. Again, the last thing you want to be is indecisive in this kind of a situation. And I don't know, man. I don't know about y'all. You tell me if I sound crazy. Don't it feel like 54 been beating your ass all day? Feels like the first person I would be looking for if I get to the second level is 54 because he's been a problem, right? I understand 21's right in your line of sight, but you got Cedric Tillman on that side. He's going to come by, do something about that. He's not been a threat all game. I've not been talking about 21. You know, I've been talking about all breakdown 54. I've called him the boogeyman at this point. So just get up there and look for him. Just like account for 54. You know, so yeah, that I don't know if that's what they're teaching. Again, I'm just a guy in a chair, but it feels like it makes sense, right? Like look for 54. Just look there. I don't know, the guy's been kicking your ass all game. Maybe DeJuan's supposed to climb and get to the second level, but I highly doubt that they asked DeJuan to do that. I highly doubt that they asked DeJuan to do that. I'm pretty sure all they want DeJuan to do is climb, is just get this down block, right? Just get the down block. Zenter's got to be looking for that linebacker, man. And I get it. Because Jeremiah Trotter's gap is here, right? He ends up over here. But this is his gap responsibility. We'll see what gap Jihad Campbell takes. But something tells me he's probably going to take the outside. Yep, he takes the outside. They slide the gap over. He's not where he's supposed to be. But, dude, you got to look for him. He's been beating your ass all day. Everybody done got something from 54. Got to look for him. Yeah, he's pointing at his chest. He know he messed up. That's on Zenter. Let's run that back. All right, let's slide. Good job by DeJuan. That's fine. Again, would like to see him be more powerful. Who dealt with the boogeyman this time? It wasn't Luke Whippler. It was Amani Marshall. How did Amani Marshall fare versus the boogeyman? Coming downhill, 54. You know what? Not terrible. Like it's not great. It's not great. It's not terrible though. Right? I think Amani Marshall has good instincts as a pass protector. He just needs to learn better technique. His technique lacks a little bit, but man, fine instincts. And you know what? Just being in the right spot, doing a little bit of something, being decisive, it's better than nothing, man. It clears that lane. It clears that lane and first down. All right, let's get to the next play. All right, I think this is the last one that DeJuan played, so the last one we'll be looking at. Okay, this is pick 6. So I believe this is like a run action look. It is a run action. So play action, run action, play action. They do like a pass protect still, despite faking a handoff. Run action is when the offensive line fakes the run too, right? We've had a couple of them. Like the end around was a run action type play where they faked run blocking, but it ended up being a different type of play. So run action, they're blocking, you know, this looks like they're blocking for a run play. And then they're booting away from it. Wonder if Dylan should have got rid of this right here. I think he wanted to, too. I think he should have got rid of it right here. I don't know where 82 is supposed to be. I think 82 is where he's supposed to be, but then like 86 just like terrorizes this play. Hey, man, 86 might have been the worst player on film today. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. 86 was pretty bad. See, Deontay Dry says stem vertical. He's probably should be a little bit deeper, but that shit happens. You know, I was pretty harsh on him. I'm not going to be as harsh on him. But boy, 86, that's like the third time I've seen him drift this route deep into the intermediate. And I think 82 has got a landmark he's got to stop at here, right? Like he keeps following Dylan. That's fine because he doesn't really bring his man into the play. Yeah. You look at DJ, he doesn't lose any def here. He kind of shakes off his DB and maintains his def here. Yeah, Dylan's got to get rid of that thing either right here. Well, not right here. He's got to see it here and release it right there where he pats, right? Again, I don't mind patting the ball. I know some people on TikTok have made a big habit of pointing out when quarterbacks pat the ball and making it a big deal. You can pat the ball, just fucking throw it. You know what I mean? Like if you pat the ball and you throw it and it's on time, who gives a shit if you patted the ball? But you can't, if you pat the ball and we're seeing you pat because you're indecisive, then that's a problem, right? But if you're decisive, nobody care about that, right? Aaron Rodgers pats the ball all the time. He's decisive. Nobody gives a damn. But right here, he's gearing up to throw. Just throw it. Like either you got 82 as an answer here, or you got Deontay as an answer. He's ready for it. Both guys' eyes looking at you. They're ready for it. Just get rid of it right there. I know this isn't a Dylan Gabriel film breakdown, but, very avoidable interception. But that's what practice is for, so you can learn. I would love to know if Dewan was supposed to block somebody. I don't think so, though. I think he's like containing, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I think he's containing the edges on a route. He's in coverage. It's fine. It's not like pressure was why this play went bad. Yeah. And maybe he was expecting Deontay to gear down a little bit. I don't know. Just throw the fucking ball. I know Kurt Warner said this wasn't his fault. And I think there's some merit to that, right? Other things went wrong. And, that's a smart way to look at it. But also, I think you could have just threw it right here. Right? Just throw the fucking ball. Just throw the fucking ball. You can't wait this long. You can't wait this long. I think that's the main thing they're going to teach him in that room. Yeah. If you get past that point right there where you're shuffling, it's time to throw the ball out of bounds. Okay. Once you get past that second shuffle, right here, it's time to get the ball out of bounds and let it die. Too much time. Get rid of that ball right here. Not here. All right. Yeah, maybe Deontay ran it a little bit too fast. Wasn't in time with you, wasn't in step. Okay, that's fine. Just throw it to 82 and move on with the game. If you don't feel comfortable getting that ball to 82, then just let it die, because at no point does it look like 86 is about to win this route. At no point. You got to be able to see Makuba there. You got to be able to see Deontay there. Even if you can't see Makuba, you got to see Deontay there and think to yourself, is there another DB there? Yeah. All right, but back to the offensive line. It's nothing much to look at here. Let's look at some Isaiah McGuire. That's fun. Mr. 57 here with a nice little pass rush. Ooh, dipping rip right here. Good hands. So he gets into the chest, drives. Look at how he drives to the chest of this tackle. Right into his chest, engages, gets under. Little bit of a bend here. Little bend here. Okay, little bit of a good bend here. Look at that. Nice. Little bit of a bend and a break here. You just break DTR right here, right? Nice. Is this the pick six? No, it's not the pick six. Great job here. Shelby Harris, little bull rush. Sam Kamara, needs a double team, ends up on the ground. And Joe Tryon, he just gets outside shoulder and just rushes. That's what Joe does. All right, let's get to the next one. Good Lord. I forgot he did that twice. He got to eat the loss here. All right, 3rd and 9 here. Another rush from 57. He's on the right-hand side of your screen. They set in a little motion. And again, I like how he attacks. He attacks very violently. Look at this attack. It's violent. Gets underneath. Like, look at where everybody else on the D-line is. And look at where he is. It's a good attack here. Good first step. Gets inside. And just the strength. Right. This guy's on your hip. Just move him out the way. Run underneath him and finish the play. Good job. Let's look at everybody else. And Shelby, normal rep here. And again, Joe Tryon, Shoinka. He's just going to attack that outside shoulder. Right. Nice little rep here from Devin Bush as well, I would say. This poor tackle. They just went at him. I like this design too. Because it takes 72 away. It takes the help away. And then you get an inside rush. And then even if that inside rush isn't successful, you get this outside twist here from this linebacker. It's just putting 79 in all kind of conflict. I like this. I like this design here. Would love to see this with like a JOK, but I think Devin Bush is going to run this quite fine. Right. Because look how fast Devin can get there. He's in what, mug A to outside C gap pretty fast. It's going to create pressures. It's good design. Good execution. All right, that's the film breakdown for the trenches so far. I'm encouraged. I know all of that wasn't the most encouraging thing that you could see. Oftentimes, offensive line play can be a little nasty, be a little ugly, right? Be a little sloppy, not the thing that you want to see all the time. I think the wand, there's some room for improvement there, but I think the good news is he's going to be able to have enough good offensive line play around him to where you're going to be able to prop him up a bit. So you're not going to ask him to do a lot of difficult things. I think he'll be fine out there. I think Zach Zinter, he looks young, but showing some promise. There are some moments there where he looks like a starting guard. Tevin Jenkins looked excellent in this game, contrary to how he looked the week prior. And then I think Luke Wepler is going to be a player for this team too. So that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.